Hello students, this is Dr. Ranjini, Assistant Professor in Biotechnology. Welcome to e-learning session in Microbial Technology. In previous session, we learned the microbial production of glutamate. Today in this session, we learn the microbial production of another amino acid, that is lysine. Lysine is an essential amino acid for animal and human nutrition. So this lysine will not be synthesized in the animal and human being. That's why it has to be supplemented through nutrition. It occurs in plant proteins only in low concentration. Addition of lysine can increase the quality of plant foods. Nowadays, the market for lysine is increasing. Lysine is produced today only by microbial processes, and for this production of lysine, variety of approaches will be used and has been developed for the production of lysine. There are different methods of lysine production. First, we'll take up the lysine production via diamino pimelic acid. Diaminopimelic acid. It will be designated as DAP. DAP. I'll be using this word frequently in coming slides. DAP refers to diaminopimelic acid. Here, oxotropic mutants of E. coli will be used. That is, lysine histidine double oxotropic mutant of E. coli. That strain is ATCC13002. This produces diaminopimelic acid, that is DAP. When it is grown on a molasses media, it will produce diaminopimelic acid around 19 to 24 gram per liter. The entire fermentation solution, the whole E. coli culture, the fermentation solution will be subsequently incubated with another microorganism, that is Aerobacter aerogenes. So this Aerobacter aerogenes, so here double fermentation is taking place with the two different microorganisms. Initially with the E. coli and later with Aerobacter aerogenes, that strain is ATCC12409. And incubation temperature will be maintained at around 35 degree centigrade. Now, what will happen in the first step, DAP was formed. And next, when this fermentation culture was inoculated with Aerobacter aerogenes, the whole DAP will be decarboxylated quantitatively to produce L-lysine. So, in diaminopimelic acid method, they use the oxotropic mutants of E. coli to convert the molasses into the diaminopimelic acid, that is DAP. And to that whole culture, the whole fermentation culture was inoculated with Aerobacter aerogenes for about 20 hours at 35 degrees centigrade. The DAP will be decarboxylated to give L-lysine. The one complication with this DAP method of lysine is that DAP formed during fermentation is a mixture of meso and L-lysine forms. Since only meso DAP can be decarboxylated to L-lysine, but the LL-DAP, it has to be first converted into meso form by racemization before decarboxylation. So after decarboxylation of meso form, we'll find the formation of L-lysine. This enzymatic process has been commercialized in Japan. So this Japan company, that is Toray company, which has the capacity of producing over 4,000 tons per year. 4,000 tons of L-lysine will be produced per year. So like this, DAP method will be used for the production of L-lysine, that is essential amino acid. The another method is direct fermentation process. Now it is used worldwide for the production of L-lysine. Here, the glutamic acid producing mutants of Corynebacterium and Brevibacterium, which are homoserine auxotropes, are used. High lysine producing strains are also found among the organisms resistant to lysine that is metabolite, that is it is in short form it is called as AEC, that is beta aminoethyl cysteine. The development of high yielding strains by mutation to auxotropy and to the antimetabolite, lysine antimetabolite resistance has been carried out with B lactofermentum. So direct fermentation will be used for the production of the L-lysine. And this L-lysine is also produced by fusing the protoplast between high yielding strains and wild strains of B lactofermentum, Corynebacterium and Brevibacterium mutants. So here recombinant DNA technology has also been used for the production of high amount of lysine. E. coli will be transformed with the PBR322 vector. So the transformed strains contain the DAPA gene. So this does the significant increase in the lysine production will be around 6.5 gram per liter. Here in this recombinant DNA technology based production of L-lysine, the enzyme dihydropicolinate synthase is the rate limiting enzyme for lysine biosynthesis. Here the studies has been carried out on transformation of Corynebacterium glutamicum with the plasmid vector, which will encode for this dihydrodipicolinate synthase, that is DDPS gene. So by this technique also we can produce the L-lysine. Yeast such as Candida periculosa, Saccharomyces cerevisiae have been studied extensively for lysine production. Here, the lysine accumulates intracellularly in these organisms at a concentration of around 20% of their dry weight. However, these yeasts cannot be used successfully in large scale or the industrial processes because the lysine produced intracellularly, it will not be excreted into the medium. The biosynthesis and the regulation of lysine synthesized in the microorganism either by DAP pathway or by the other pathway, so they differ. For the commercial production of L-lysine, sugarcane molasses is used as carbon source in industrial production. Along with this, acetate, ethanol, or alkanes can also be used. Gaseous ammonia or ammonium salts are used as nitrogen sources for synthesizing amino acid and protein. Urea is also used in the fermentation if the producing microorganism has urease activity. So only then we use the urea as the nitrogen source. Otherwise, we use the gaseous ammonia or the ammonium salts will be used as the nitrogen source. Along with this, growth factors like L-homoserine or L-threonine and the other amino acid L-methionine must be added, but they should be added in suboptimal concentration to avoid undesirable regulatory effects during the production of L-lysine. During the commercial production of L-lysine, soy protein hydrolysates or other inexpensive protein sources are frequently used. Here, the biotin content in the medium has to be maintained. So it should be above the 30 microgram per liter for optimum lysine production. The biotin content in sugarcane molasses is usually high, but if you use the sugar beet molasses or starch hydrolysates, in such condition we have to add the biotin. So when we inoculate the microorganism and when we produce the L-lysine, the L-lysine production will be around, the yield will be around 44 gram per liter. And conversion rate in relation to the sugar used will be up to the maximum of 30 to 40% of the sugar used. Like this, the lysine will be produced nowadays by fermentation technique, as it is an essential amino acid, and most of the microorganism they produce the L-lysine intracellularly. It will be made to produce or excrete to the medium, and we have to adjust the concentration of each and every media components for high conversion of the sugar or maximum yield up to 44 gram per liter. So in this session, we learned the microbial production of L-lysine, the different methods, that is DAP method, direct fermentation, then protoplast fusion, and also by recombinant DNA technology, how this L-lysine is produced. And during large scale production, what all points or what all the information we have to recollect to standardize the media for the large scale production of the L-lysine. I hope you understood this session. Thank you.